Yeah, this is the Bloody Legends with Jai, that Aussie metal guy, and Killer. Like, subscribe, and keep it brutal.
G'day, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy, and my partner in crime, Killer, from Storm the Crown. Tonight, wherever in the world, it's a
Yes.
great pleasure that we have another edition of the Bloody Legends. And the Bloody Legend we have on today is Brendon Small from Dethklok, who are due to bring the extreme metal behemoth from the acclaimed animated series Metalocalypse as they prepare to awaken Australia from its musical slumber in April. Brendon, thank you so much for joining me, my friend.
All right. Thanks for having me. Thanks so much. It's nice to be here. I'm very excited to bring this project finally to Australia. It's been alive for so long, and over the past couple years, we've brought the live show back and updated it and just fine-tuned it. And so you guys want to see the ultimate version of this thing. And so we're
Oh,
excited, very excited.
we're excited to have you here, mate. Very, very excited. There's a real big buzz around the shows, and yeah, people are talking, so we can't wait for it.
Good, good, good. It's so much fun to do this show. I know that Australia has never seen this before, but the way I like to describe this show to people is that it's kind of like an amusement park ride. Here in the States, we have Universal Studios, and there's like the Terminator 2 ride there. And I remember seeing that a long time ago and thinking, wouldn't it be cool if behind these screens there was like a metal band right at the center playing, and then you had all this cool content going on. So with that idea, we wanted to be able to build something that's funny, that's brutal, and that's just totally entertaining, that pretty much hypnotizes the audience into a state of stupor the entire time. So that's what we're looking to do to Australia.
Yep.
No, that is awesome.
Exactly. I'm super excited as well. And I was chatting with Killer the other day about this because when I first come across the Metalocalypse and the Dethklok stuff, I was working hospitality. I was absolutely blown away. That unique mix of animation, comedy, and brutal heavy metal. I was absolutely sold. How do you create that unique and immersive experience live as well?
Well, the idea is, the way that we do it is, when the show, just to back up a little bit, when we were kind of fine-tuning the show and getting it ready for TV, the idea was, how do I make a show that has comedy, that has strong characters, and has a musical component where I will challenge myself to write music for every single episode. And if that works out, if the show kind of lands, maybe I can make a record at the end of the season. I can extend these little pieces of music into full things. Okay, and then if that happens, how do I go on tour? Then I thought, well, the Gorillas did it, so I went and like rented a Gorillas DVD and watched how they did it. And they were playing behind scrims, and I thought, no, we need to be in front of the animation, but we need to make sure that our playing is in lockstep with the screen. So I thought, okay, we need a click track. So I need a drummer that can just never be taken away from the click track. So Gene Hoglan, of course, I was already plotting, the first record, and I was lucky enough to meet Gene Hoglan in between gigs. And he was like, let's do it. And so I found a really great partner in Gene Hoglan early on. And the idea is that we have click tracks, we have headsets, we're playing as precisely as we can to picture so that every downbeat coincides with a cut. So what you have in the audience is this ultimate synergy between audio and visual. And to me, as a lover of cinema, that's all cinema is visual and audio working together to tell the bigger story. So we have a lot of storytelling. Each one of our pieces of music that we play is built to be entertaining, exciting, to follow a little bit of a story. We have comedy, we have brutality, we have all this stuff that makes Metalocalypse, but it's all happening live. And the other thing is, you'll see that you'll see me on stage, but I'll be a shadow.
Yeah.
And the idea is that the show is not about, I mean, it's nice to acknowledge that we're playing the music but we don't look anything like the musicians, and we're not meant to, but we happen to sound exactly like them. So when you see the show, you're gonna get we're going to reproduce the sounds from the records to a T, do it live for you, and play the picture. And it all kind of ends up feeling like a gigantic magic trick, which is kind of exciting.
No, that's awesome. Speaking of like the live shows and stuff, have you guys ever had any technical difficulties that have made you feel like you're in an episode of the show?
Absolutely. Like every, spinal. Spinal Tap nailed it all, which, Spinal Tap did such a great job. It still is one of the greatest comedy movies of all time. It also is great heavy metal rock and roll movie, but they nailed everything. And also because Spinal Tap exists and because it was about a band on its way out, Dethklok had to be about a band that's the biggest act on earth because we didn't want to cover anything that Spinal Tap already covered. But truthfully, with all of these little elements that we have in our live show, anything can go wrong at any time, and it has happened before. In the early days, it was treacherous. I didn't know how to play live before. Like, I played in my bedroom. I would occasionally do gigs and I would do stand up and stuff, but playing live and getting the rig and howling feedback and a guitar with a strap twisted backwards with no strap locks that would fall off as I'm taking a solo, or I would hit the wrong pedal onto like a loud clean channel during a solo. Anything could happen. It's really like so important. It's like we have a really tight crew that really knows how to make sure that we get what we need on stage. And if there's a problem, we've got a couple of like backup plans just in case something crazy happens. And then sometimes we don't, and we go with it. And whatever happens makes it a very unique experience for us and the audience. We always hope it doesn't happen because it's terrifying. But seriously, it's a crazy place. I look at us before we go on stage and I go, what are we doing? We must be idiotic daredevils. What are we doing this for? What are we, insane? Or like having, like palpitations before we go on stage. But it's all worth it. It's all worth it because the show lands and the audience is really excited.
Yeah, that's funny you feel
Oh,
like
that
that because a band like yours, like did you probably you started this out as the project it was, that animated project, and now it's kind of grown into this full force. Did you ever think that what you're doing with Dethklok and Metalocalypse would have an influence on other bands and people coming through? Because I've spoken to people that you guys have had a direct influence on with what you're doing with the animation, the comedy, and the heavy metal, kind of having that kind of be the main forefront instead of the band itself.
It's I don't know what I was hoping for to happen. I just knew that like selfishly when I was thinking about writing this, the characters, the music and all that stuff, I was thinking about myself
Yeah.
when I was like about 14 years old, discovering heavy metal and discovering guitar. And I was thinking about like, that's the audience I want to hit. Like that's the guy I want to, or that's whoever it is that feels like I did at that age. A weirdo OCD, ADD kid who like had too much information, micro obsessions all over, and it's kind of for like it's kind of for musicians, but it's also for comedy fans, and it's also for people if there's a lot of stuff to get interested in inside of it, and I wanted to make sure and pack it all in there again for the me that was 14 years old. Like, can I do anything to calm that kid's brain? Would that be this show? And so, if anyone else found, and in fact, I was hoping that would be our audience. I know it was Adult Swim, and so our demographic was much older than that. It was like 18 to 35. But coming back, in 2019 and doing these shows, I see that those 14 and 15-year-olds kids grew up and they're like, we got stuck inside of their psyche somehow, and they're like, let's see this. And so that's who I'm thinking about too. So if anyone gets influenced by that, it's really cool because I got influenced by guitar, by comedy and all that stuff too. And it's nice to be able to add to that for, future comedians and entertainers and all that stuff too. But yeah, it was just a wild, wonderful playground to be able to screw around in. And we were not really in competition with anybody else. There was no other heavy metal musical comedy show out there. And so we were like, we were happy to be to get there early and to be able to stay there as long as we could.
are you speaking directly to me with that as well? I was that kid that you've directly influenced.
Yeah.
My
Okay. So
vocals in my band are I am Nathan Explosion. That
that's awesome.
sharp, punchy, super low. I
Yeah.
love all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. The other thing I've noticed with the show as well is the playing. You look at like Squizgar's finger work, and it's bang on. How much effort goes into that? Like it's almost like you have green screened or done something like put a glove on and had the animation
Yeah.
follow your actual fingers. It blows me away.
I
How,
appreciate you noticing that because that's something that I thought maybe no one will ever notice this, but I would sit and turn a camera on myself after, I recorded a song and I'd go, okay, this is Squiscar's part, and then Toki's getting the hits over here, and he's just hitting these parts. So they're going to be doing two different things. But when the solo comes, this is the idea. It's up here. I'm doing a thing. Watch my right hand. It's kind of just doing this motion here, and it's doing that. So I'm not doing much here. The left hand is. So I was like, I would give a guitar lesson to the animators, and make sure they had the gist of what the idea was, because again, if I were 14 and watching this, and I'd be like, wait a minute, that seems to be right. That seems to be like the accurate guitar playing to a degree. It's not absolutely perfect, but the ballpark idea is always kind of there. So yeah, so there's a guitar lesson that would happen every single episode between me and the animation staff.
That's awesome. Squizgar taught me how to play the Duncan Hills solo.
Oh yeah, good.
Watching that
good.
tutorial, so like, yeah, I studied that, and I still can't sweep, but amazing.
Oh yeah,
just that, yeah.
Well,
yeah, the
you'll
finger work
get
is
it.
just
You'll
fantastic,
get it.
though.
Just keep watching that tutorial. It'll happen. I think it's on one of the It was on the first season DVD where I said,
Yeah.
let me, and I think it's my own handwriting writing out the tablature for all that stuff, and we just like scanned it and put it in the thing. But yeah, that's how I learned how to play guitar too, was tablature, Guitar Player magazines, things like that. It was pre-YouTube. YouTube came out around the time that Metalocalypse aired, which is really
Yeah.
crazy. And we use that to our advantage to market the show too. But truthfully, back when you wanted to learn how to play guitar, you had to save up a lot of money, buy instructional videos, and I used to buy those instructional videos throughout high school, through like Paul Gilbert, Marty Friedman, Eric Johnson. I had all kinds of really great instructional videos, and those guys were my teachers. And I also had a guitar teacher too, which is really important to have to guide you through this crazy treachery of guitar playing.
Damn straight. And everybody can catch that and more on the Awaken Australia tour, which does promise to be a ground-breaking experience for heavy metal fans. And I will be bloody there. It is selling so bloody quick with another show added in Melbourne. Everybody run out there, grab some fucking tickets now, or you are going to be missing out and kicking your own ass. Brendon Small, do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else you'd like to add in there, mate?
I can't. I wish I were on stage now. We're so excited to come. I can't wait to come to Australia to hang out with you guys and to play. So I hope to see you there. We've added a lot of shows. I'm really happy to hear that people are excited about it, and I cannot wait. So hopefully we can do this, and then hopefully we can do it again.
Damn straight.
That is
Can't wait to
awesome.
catch you all. Cheers, mate.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
mate.
very much, guys. I'll see you later.
Cheers.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.